Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Lisa Tolliver, a board member for the Silver Springs School Board, joined 30 other school board members from across Texas at the kickoff session of the Leadership TASB class of 2018. Selected by the Texas Association of School Boards, the group is participating in a year-long educational leadership study program. These trustees represent school districts of all sizes, with student populations from 184 to 83,270, and they also reflect a similar range of property wealth. Participants who complete all the required elements of the study will graduate next year with a Master Trustee status. This is the highest designation recognized by the Texas Association of School Boards. Board members also receive training at a variety of leadership TASB sessions and attended the TASB Delegate Assembly, the association's annual business meeting. Each session has a unique theme that builds on the previous session and features nationally recognized experts in the fields of leadership development and education. Teams also work throughout the year on extended learning assignments between meetings. Created in 1993, Leadership TASB has more than 800 graduates to date. TASB is a voluntary nonprofit association established in 1949 to serve local Texas school boards. School board members are the largest group of publicly elected officials in the state. The districts they represent serve more than 5.3 million public school students. Texas State Comptroller Glenn Heger will deliver the keynote address at the second annual Northeast Texas Rural Transportation Summit Tuesday, October 31st, at the Hopkins County Civic Center. The event will include several industry partners and transportation providers discussing the strengths and opportunities that work together to strengthen the greater Northeast Texas area. The principal goal of this summit is to bring attention to area transportation needs. Local EDCs and industry and business development organizations have taught that economic development is dependent on the transportation system, roads, rail, and air available to the area. Chris Brown, Executive Director of the Architects Council of Governments, said having a discussion on how to identify the needs and how to make them a priority is critical to area success in bringing quality jobs and investments to our communities. The event will focus on some of the area's strongest economic development assets and assist in finding ways to promote and improve their impact.
Our friend Brad Davis, musician from Commerce, he came in for a visit and brought his new guitar. Not one that he's purchased, one that has been designed and is being marketed with his name trademark on it. Let's find out more from Brad Davis and his Alvarez guitar.
Well, how many guitars does this make for you?
Well, that's scary, but most people would go, I bet he's got hundreds and hundreds, but I don't. I only have the ones that I play and actually make a living with. I had a couple of very expensive Telecasters years ago, and I told my wife that'll be college for my daughter and son, and we sold those for college for both of them. So I don't just keep guitars, but this is definitely one of the best guitars that I have. It's become my main studio guitar. It's a new guitar by Alvarez. It's the Brad Davis model with a BD on it, so I'm really excited to have it. But it's an honor. I mean, all these years I've had people kind of hint at wanting me to do a signature guitar, but I thought, I'm not really sure. Does anybody want a signature guitar with my name on it? So anyway, I thought at 53, if I don't take it now, they may not ask again. So I better go ahead and grab the opportunity.
So this is not a guitar you purchased. This is one that was purchased for you with your signature, your name, which is very tastefully done there on the frets.
It's very small.
Just a lowercase b, D. Yeah. But now this is being offered to people who do buy guitars.
Right. This is going to be $4,000 because the wood is very, very old in this guitar. It'll be legally sold in the U.S. So once they get all the paperwork done, but the wood is very old. It's very vintage, and it's basically reminiscent of a 1937 Martin, an old vintage guitar. So very lightweight, and just sounds great.
Kind of a dream. It sounds beautiful.
And the back and sides are rosewood, so that's the wood that's very difficult to authenticate for legal transportation.
And that's because it is
endangered. Right, and so this particular maker, Alvarez Yairi is how you pronounce it. I learned about a month ago. It's Yairi, not Yari. He has the oldest collection of wood in the history, present day, of guitar makers. He has the oldest batch of wood of anybody.
Where does he live?
It's in Japan. Obviously it's over in Japan, but they have a U.S. counterpart to the company, and that's the guys that I deal with, and they're in London, and they also live in the U.S. But this particular guitar is going to sell for about $35,000 to $4,000, and they'll sell 2,000 of these, and then they'll make 20 to 30,000 of the 599 models.
Okay.
And those models will be made out of really good wood, but the wood won't be ancient, it won't be old, and it won't be endangered. It'll be wood that'll be very good quality wood, but it'll be made in a factory in China, obviously, as most things are made these days in mass production. And it'll look just like this guitar, but it will cost $599.
Well, how many of the originals are they going to sell?
There'll be 2,000, I think. Right.
2,000 handmade replicas of this.
Right. So, and it's like the tuners. They're 1937. They're ebony pegs. They're just like the old ones that were on the guitars, early back in the 37. So, it's really neat. It's really an honor to, to have it. So.
And tell me, and we do want to hear this guitar now, so you can strike a few chords if you would.
Yeah.
But tell us, why Alvarez? Why the company Alvarez?
Well, I was with another company who we won't talk about, and they got bought out by a larger entity, and they basically tried to shut that company down to go to public IPO on the market. So that company kind of fell apart, and I felt like, it's time to leave. There's nobody there to control the company or even keep it organized, and I do this for a living, so I need to work. So I just went ahead and bowed out and said, guys, it's time for me to go. And so I did that. Well, in the meantime, all of the people that worked for that company lost their jobs and ran to this other company, Alvarez. And so they called and said, Brad, we're with Alvarez. We would love to do a signature model with you. What do you think? And I said, I don't know. I haven't thought about Alvarez in 30 years. I have no idea what they sound like. And he said, oh, you'll like what we're making, because we're making something that's kind of reminiscent of what you want. We know, because we've worked with you before. So they sent it to me, let me tweak a little bit of the bracing and the positioning of everything for sound-wise. And then I said, okay. And then they sent it off to the factory. And these are all handmade. These are totally handmade. These are here. And then sent it back to me and flew it out here. I mean, the guy from London and St. Louis, and another guy from Japan.
The three of them came to Dallas.
And then met and took a car to Commerce.
Commerce, Texas.
Yes,
okay.
Right. And so they brought the guitar, and we had some people there, Matt Meeking from the college, different people that came in, a newspaper, and because it was a big deal to come all the way to Commerce. I mean,
I say.
Wow, so they came out and they said, Brad, we have this guitar. We hope you like it. I said, what if I didn't? And they said, that's happened before. Well, I did. I loved it. I strummed it, and it just sounded like a piano. It sounded amazing. So it's been my main guitar. So it's kind of a wild story, isn't it?
I see. Yes, a wild story. I wanted to come to your studio that day when the dignitaries were coming, and it wasn't meant to be for some reason. I don't know why.
It worked out well. It was a crazy day.
It was too crazy.
We have our own time now. So
the coloring on this.
The coloring is a sunburst, but most sunbursts are real dark up here.
Yeah.
They're real dark up here, the Gibson and the old Martin, and then it gets lighter down here. Well, they knew I liked coffee, and they knew that I was a silent partner in a coffee company for some years, and still endorse this company. And so they said, we want to make this stain look like coffee. And so they worked really hard to make it look like it was just a coffee stain. So they just kind of made it look like it was sunburst just around the edges, and they call it the coffee burst. So I'm real tickled to be part of that.
To me, it has a real Western flair to it.
Yeah, it does.
Vintage-looking Western flair.
I just love it. I mean, it makes me think about Way Out West, or something Tommy Lee Jones would like, or Robert Duvall.
Now, of course, back on guitars, this one is certainly not your only guitar, but you mentioned that you have a Martin and you keep it when you play in Nashville. Right,
I have one in Nashville, and then I've got great guitars here, but the one in Nashville is delicate. I don't want to travel with it, so it stays there with my brother. My brother's in Nashville. And I got that from Norman Blake years ago when I was 8 years old. So that guitar, I got it for a song, and it's worth, I don't know, $30,000 now. So
amazing.
That's incredible. It's really incredible.
I don't want to say, how did all these things come to you and who are you? Because many people do know who you are over at BDM Studios in Commerce and your background in music, not only Nashville, but music, movie soundtracks and more.
Right.
But for those who don't know, please tell us.
Right. And, I'm a veteran in the music business, a Grammy record performing artist. So I've been a hired gun for many, many artists. Started with Ricky Skaggs, Sweethearts of the Rodeo, Forster Sisters, Marty Stewart, and then it went on from there to a guy named Sam Bush, who played with Bela Fleck for years, and then Billy Bob Thornton. I was in a band with him for many, many years, and I've bowed out of that band because of my schedule. But in all that time, I had a chance to really make some great connections, and then we had some sick family members here, and we decided to move back from Nashville to Texas. I grew up in Fort Worth, but we couldn't find anything there we liked, so we found a place in Commerce, of all places, online. Just found this house and went like, I don't know, and it just seemed like it worked. And my wife's father had lived right in Oklahoma, and it was a close proximity to him. He was not doing well health-wise, so we decided to move closer here, and it worked out great because we got a great college, and we've got you guys here in Sulphur. We just got a great community, Tri-City. So I'm really glad to be here, and the airport's only an hour and 15 minutes away, so you can do anything you want to do. But I still tour as a solo artist, and I'll be doing a lot more touring with Alvarez as a solo and with a trio. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's going to be fun.
There's another Hopkins County musician that sometimes you pair up with.
Oh, yes, Mr. Tom Glossa.
And we were talking about Tom earlier.
Tom's fantastic. Tom, he knows a million songs, as you know. And so sometimes I'll be touring with a trio, and it'll be Tom Glossa on guitar and vocals, and then lead vocals and harmony vocals, and then Steve Thompson on bass and harmony vocals. And those guys are great. They're fantastic. We do a lot of legendary country, really, really hardcore, which I really love, and legendary blues. So it's a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll be at your show.
I hope to have you at the Riley Springs Jamboree.
That would be a blast.
In 2018.
That would be a blast.
So, how this works through Alvarez, they're encouraging you to book shows using your guitar and promoting the sales.
Yeah, promoting my brand and their brand.
Okay.
So we do a monthly video shoot at the studio, and the studio's downtown. Just in case I didn't say it, it's BradDavisRecordingStudio.com. It used to be BDM Studio, which we still have that URL, but it's BradDavisRecordingStudio.com. And so we'll be doing the video shoots down there, and those shoots allow us to create social media activity that will create excitement about the new guitar and the new products that are coming out. So it'll be 2018 before all the production models are out. I'm anxious to see the $599 one. So, I'm really curious what it's going to look like. So,
what an amazing career already that you have had.
I'm really blessed to be busy, and with 2 kids in college. My daughter is in nursing school, and my son's at A&M, and all I do is music full time. So it's hard to believe that we're able to continue to roll along here.
And not all the time in Commerce, but home-based out of Commerce, Texas, and such a successful music career.
All right, well, thanks.
And I'm proud to be able to share that with our listeners. But we also want you to do a little music for us.
Yeah, I'll play a little bit. Not much. See, I know we got time's tight, but I'll play a little bit.
So pretty.
Thank you.
So you write songs too?
I do. I wrote for a publisher for many years, and now I hold my own publishing. And I do that because the way things are going with the internet nowadays, it's better to hold on to your own publishing and just hang on to control. But I do write. I'm actually finishing my degree at Berkeley online because I never did finish it, and I'm having to take classes that pertain to that degree, and one of them is a songwriting class. So I normally write probably 4 or 5 times a month, but with the class I'm writing 3 or 4 songs a week now. So, which has really been good for me because I'm really busy producing records and soundtracks, and so it's really neat to get kind of forced. No, you got to make a pot of coffee and go write. Well, great. Okay, I'll do it. So I do write. I write with Tom Glossop too, and there's another guy in town named Doyle Hayes I've written a lot with, and I've got a new instrumental called "Little Green Irishmen" on my new record called "I Need Music," which I didn't bring one. I should have brought one, but I'm not very good at promoting myself. So, but anyway, it's online if you wanted to find it. Okay. It's online, and I wrote the title cut of that with Maggie Warwick, who Maggie Warwick co-headlined with Elvis Presley when she was 19 years old on the Louisiana Hayride. That's the record label I'm signed with. They own the Louisiana Hayride record label. And I just thought about her today. She's in the hospital with bone cancer right now, trying to recover. And so we send our prayers and thoughts out for her. But she basically wrote the title cut of the new record called I Need Music. Amazing. She's written stuff for Soul Shake. I mean, the list of hits she's written are amazing, and to write with her is amazing. So that song's one of the songs I wrote with her. That's on the new record. So I do write. I love to write songs.
We have like 1 minute for you to stand on your platform and tell us about royalties.
Royalties, yeah. Royalties are tough. Ever since the internet's kind of grown, the U.S. government has not updated any of the rules about how they allocate royalty and payment to writers and singers and songwriters and publishers and producers and performers. And so I'm basically asked by the Grammy team here in Texas, the Grammy board, to be an advocate. And so I went and spoke with John Radcliffe and a lot of the representatives to basically tell them that we need to get on board and we need to make sure that we're up to date. You know, minimum wage has to be up to date as the years roll along, and so does the payment for songwriters. So basically, you know, we don't want to have our songs stolen and not be paid for all of our hard work because it costs money to be in the studio. Mm-hmm. These productions cost money. So I'm working hard with the Grammy board to try to turn that around. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, but we're going to start chipping away at it.
Thank you for standing up for that.
You bet. Glad to do it.
Much more visible. We've enjoyed our moments with you, and we have to say bye now, Brad Davis.
Thanks, Anola. It was fantastic.
Please come back with your Alvarez guitar.
Thanks.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Wildcats and Lady Cats cross-country teams competed at the regional cross-country meet at Lynn Creek Park in Grand Prairie on Monday. And we learned more from Wildcats and Lady Cats cross-country coach Ross Hicks.
Yeah, we competed Monday morning, and so the boys overall finished in 10th place in the region, and the girls finished in 17th place out of the regional competitors of about 26 teams on both. Mm-hmm.
How close did individuals come to making it and being those 10 that aren't on the team going to state?
Yeah, our top guy, Landon Thornton, he finished 26th overall, and so he was right at 10 places away from going to state. You know, the kid that from Hallsville that he beat last week, he was 16th or 17th, I believe, and he was 1 place away. So we knew that it would be close, but there's a lot of people right there within a few seconds, and so you know you have to show up and race on that day. And so on the girls' side, our first finisher was Sydney Washburn, and she might say she was disappointed in herself. I think she ran well. She gave it her all, and came up a little bit short as well from qualifying for that state meet.
How did some of the others do for us?
Yeah, on the boys' side, you know, we had a little bit of flux in the positions. Peyton Vickery, he really got out strong to give us a chance to go. He's a senior. He was very focused, and he got out strong. And about a mile and a half in, he kind of started feeling that, and he dropped off the pace a little bit. And so sophomore Christian Palomino really stepped up into that second place role and really wasn't very far behind Landon. And he had kind of he had a great race, finishing 34th, I believe, which was one of the, I believe, 7th for freshmen and sophomores. So he did very well and stepped up well for us. Then next we had Eli Sellers, who about a mile into the race lost his shoe. So he ran about 2 miles of the race without one shoe. So, and still ran a good race. And me and we kind of joked if anybody was to lose a shoe and run well, it would be him. So, but he was able to finish the race with one shoe, and then Peyton was after him. They were right neck and neck, and then our 5th guy was Nabian Ramirez this week, who was a few places behind them.
And tell us about the girls after Sydney.
Yeah, after Sydney, we had junior Caitlin Farrell. She came in after Sydney, and then we had freshman Landry McKinney, and then Bailey Arrington and Samantha Vargas was after that. So, we didn't perform our best. I don't think, and they'll tell you that as well. And but they all gave a good effort. We just need to be a little bit more focused going in, and we have a lot of talent. And all the girls, nearly everyone's returning next year for the girls' side. So we have a lot of talent, a lot of potential. We just have to learn from this and keep improving. But both the guys and the girls' teams were improved places from last year. So we want to continue that trend of just getting better in the region, and continuing to build towards being in those top 4 places in the region.
Yeah, I heard so many underclass names that you mentioned. It just it gives you a good future, and to have like Palominos and Washburns and stuff like that you can count on for the future.
Yeah, it's definitely positive that most of we had 2 seniors on each of the teams, the boys and the girls, and and they've been excellent for the program. They've been great leaders, but they've also they've taught a lot of these younger guys and girls how to do it. And so they will be missed, but their presence will be seen for the next couple of years as they've kind of their demeanor and everything has translated down to the younger, and hopefully those younger kids will really step up and continue to improve in the future and do great things for us.
Hopkins County was well represented at regional track meets Monday at Lynn Creek Park in Grand Prairie. Super freshman Lexi Busby of Cumbie qualified for the state meet by finishing 8th in the Class 2A regional race on Monday. Busby ran a personal best of 12 minutes 32.41 seconds. Cumbie finished 18th overall as a team. The Saltillo Lions and Saltillo Lady Lions are both state-bound after the Class 1A regional race. The Lions finished 2nd as a team behind Miller Grove. Sulphur Bluff finished 3rd as Hopkins County had a 1-2-3 finish. Walker McGill was the top Lions finisher in 8th place. Other teammates headed for state from Saltillo are Trevor Moore, Hendrick Rios, Branson McGill, Lyle Bench, Dylan Beadle, and Matthew Gurley. The Saltillo Lady Lions finished 4th in their regional race, and Miller Grove finished 1st. The Lady Lions top finisher, Sienna Collins, finished 2nd. Her state-bound teammates will include Jocelyn Ochoa, Christina Wade, Madison Simmons, Danielle Ross, Ophelia Cabrera, and Chandler Bain. The state meets all take place on November 4th at Old Settlers Park in Round Rock. It's Football Coordinators Tuesday, and I talked with Wildcats offensive coordinator Matt Young about the bye week and the Mount Pleasant defense that the Wildcats will see Friday night in Mount Pleasant.
Our guys had a tremendous week, came out with a great attitude. I really liked the improvement our O-line made. Those guys, we did a lot of good on good with them up front and really got after it. Extremely physical. Ian Blanche, just consistency coming on. Hayden Daniels made great strides for us, and Jackson Cheney, who we moved up the week before. Just those guys getting a lot more cohesive as a unit. Ethan Rodgers and Norris kind of being the mainstays in there, and really excited what they've done. Receiver-wise, just continued reps. The more you throw and catch, the better you get at it. And so it was a good week with a lot of competition, kind of pared down a little bit as far as the time we had them on the grass, try to get their legs back a little bit, but really excited where it has us going forward.
Tell us about the Mount Pleasant defense.
It's just one of those, we talk to the kids, we got to respect everybody and fear nobody. You got to respect these guys. They're going to get after it. They're going to be excited to play us. They beat us 2 times in a row. There's not anything overwhelming about them. But they do a good job. Their coaches do a good job putting them in position to make plays. They got kids that play really hard. 2 defensive ends, number 4 and number 44, both really long, can really cover a lot of ground with the length they have. They're undersized inside, but the kids understand how to play with the size they have. When they feel a double team, they'll drop and make piles. And then they're going to take away things that are easy on the outside. They're going to play a lot of tight man, but have a little bit of help over the top to make your windows small. And they're going to get after us. I mean, it's not real complicated what they're going to go do. It's just going to come down to us making plays and being consistent, put the ball in the end zone.
You're right. Last 2 times we played them, they've found ways to beat us. So, the rivalry kind of rekindled a little bit. It
is. I mean, both teams hadn't had seasons they necessarily want, but both teams are sitting here with an opportunity to get in the playoffs. And really focus on us. That's what's ahead of us, and can't take anybody light. Can't focus about anything down the road. It's really about this game. We got to take care of this one, and then the next game becomes important. So that's kind of the attitude that we had when we got rolling yesterday, and really look to see the intensity go through the week as we work on execution and focus with the game plan.
Seemed like as I did look at them, they look a little light in the defensive line, but sometimes those guys can be quick and cause a lot of trouble.
They have played guys that aren't real huge. This past week at T-High, they played some guys that were a little bit bigger. So it really depends on what they're trying to do or what they're trying to accomplish. The smaller guys play really hard and cover a lot of ground, but they get pushed around a little bit. The bigger guys don't necessarily cover the space, but they definitely can clock it up inside. So It's really kind of see what they go with. They do a good job of trying to fit what they're doing and who they're playing. They played some different linebackers last week against T-High. So we'll just be ready to see what they throw at us. We'll be ready and prepared, and it's just about making plays and playing a full 48 minutes.
It was kind of a good, refreshing week off, really beneficial for us.
Oh, it's great. I mean, the season's a grind. It doesn't matter how the season goes, it's a grind. It's a lot of time put in by the kids, by the coaches. We've been around each other a lot for a long time. So it's kind of nice to step back, and the intensity level of a game is kind of removed just a little bit, but able to work on what we like doing and really then be able to carry it into this week.
I also talked with Wildcats defensive coordinator Tristan Abram on this Football Coordinators Tuesday. We talked about the bye week last week and about the Mount Pleasant offense the Wildcats defense will match up with on Friday night.
I thought that it was a very productive bye week. I thought that it was, it's right on time. It allowed us to pull back some and allow some guys who were banged up a little bit to heal up. We were able to get back to focusing on just technique, small technique details, and try to get better at knowing where we should fit in different run schemes, knowing where we should be whenever we're playing different zone coverages. And then, one of the biggest things that has been our Achilles heel defensively is tackling. We slowed down and we weren't really physically taking each other down to the ground, but just, slowing down and working different drills to lower our hips, take our eyes to the near hip and all these things that you kind of don't have time for, whenever you're trying to prepare for another opponent. So it was a great open week for us, and I think the kids every day they came with the mindset that they wanted to work, wanted to get better, and believe it or not, we had kids here every single day. Typically, especially after the bumps that we've been in the obstacles we've been going over the past few weeks, you would think that maybe they would kind of start to maybe I hate to use the word rebel, but they did not, and they were here and man, we were able to get good work in every single day.
Well, I think about Mount Pleasant. We'll turn the conversation to them. Mm-hmm. They, unless he's unable to play for one reason or the other, they have an outstanding freshman running back that I think is the district's leading rusher. Yes,
he is the district leading rusher, and unfortunately, what you just said, we are thinking that he's not going to play. He Friday night against Texas High, we think that he might have broken his arm. So And he is an extremely impressive young man, extremely impressive running back. Just watching him hit the hole and the vision that he has, and once he sees a small opening as quick as he was to get to it, it created some headaches. But again, we the latest word that we got was that he might have broken his arm, which was very unfortunate. But, with that being said, it really puts you in a bind defensively. It's kind of almost like the whole Texas High deal where we were hearing that their starting quarterback wasn't going to play, so what was going to be their game plan coming into Sulphur with a new quarterback, and it's kind of that same deal this week. What's Mount Pleasant's game plan going to be whenever their leading rusher of the district and of their team, extremely impressive young man, goes out with an injury? So now what do you do? My expectations are, in all honesty, are for them to keep doing what they've been doing, because they do have some other kids that they put back there at running back that I think are just as good. I believe it's the Glinton or Linton kid that played running back last year. They had moved him to receiver, so it's not going to surprise me if they put him back in the backfield. Last year he gave us all kinds of fits back there toting that rock. So we have to be prepared for any and everything, because, like I said, we don't know really what they're gonna try to hang their hat on and what they're gonna try to do. But with that being said, I know their record doesn't show it, but they do a good job at what they do. They've just caught a few bad breaks in ball games that where things just hadn't gone their way, but they do a really good job of getting those big boys up front on people or just in your way. And shielding you off from the ball carrier, as well as, like I said, those guys that are in the backfield. I mean, none of them are really big. I mean, with the exception of a couple of them, but they also play defense. But none of them are just huge that are back there consistently, and they are like little jitterbugs, man. You give them the ball, and it's one way or the other, and I'm fixing to find a hole and go. So we have to be prepared to deal with anyone in the backfield that can give us issues, that can again find a little crease and get going north and south. So our plan is to try to make them run east and west, and us run to them and prevent very many positive yards on their end.
Tell us about the quarterback that they've got.
The quarterback they have, man, he's kind of a bigger, thicker kid, lefty. That he wears number 3, and my apologies for his name slipping my mind, but I think he does a really good job of directing that offense. Last week I felt like they ran him a little more than they've run him, all season. And he's a load to bring down. That seems to be the story of the season. Either there's a big old boy back there carrying that rock that's hard to bring down, or there's one that's going to outrun us. But he's a load to bring down, and he does a good job of reading the what you're giving him as far as with your end, if they leave the end unblocked, or outside backer. If the outside backer doesn't close fast enough, he'll keep it. And again, he's one of those kids that he's probably not going to make you miss, but he's not afraid to try to run over you just because of the simple fact that he has some size to do it. Does a good job of throwing the football. Has some receivers that he'll throw it up and they'll go up and go get it. So we have to do a good job of containing him as well. And in passing situations, they do a great job of protecting him. With the O-line and the running back at times, whenever they leave him in to protect. So we need to do a good job of just containing and trying to prevent the big play. That again just eliminate big plays and let's see how things can turn out for us this week.
We've seen some huge lines this year. Mount Pleasant's been very, very large in the past. Seem like they're very small this year on the offensive line. Now tell us about the O-line.
Yes, they are smaller than they have been in comparison to the recent past. But with that being said, they still have a little bit of size in areas. And where they're lacking in size, I think they do a good job with their footwork. Like I said, they're probably not going to get on you run you down the field, but they're gonna get in your way and allow those little guys back there that's carrying the football to do what they do. And talk about Paris. I mean, Paris, they had some big guys and a couple of smaller guys, but they did that get in our way deal, and we saw the effects of what would happen whenever we really didn't know where to fit based on what we practiced over, and typically where we say people are supposed to go. To me, it could be another similar week. So we have to be active up front with our D line, with our inside backers, and our outside backers. Because of the style of offense that they run, there's going to be quite a bit of safety help that's going to have to occur, because again they can get in everybody's way, and it gets to that third level. I mean, to me, that's the only person that they can't block, because they don't have enough people to block him unless they do a great job of scheming us up and running people off another direction. But we just need to do a good job of being physical up front, being active up front, again with our D line and our inside backers and outside backers, and make it tough for those little guys to find those holes and do damage to us.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.
All right. Okay, so here's what we have today. So it's gonna be a good day. All right, today we reported 53,065.40. So that gives us a grand total of $93,700.40, putting us over halfway already.
You more than doubled your number today.
Oh yeah.
You guys did.
Yes, y'all did. Thank you so much to all of our campaign workers. Gosh, we appreciate you so much. It just couldn't happen without your volunteerism and your efforts. So thank you so very much. So unless I'm forgetting something. So again, try to wrap up and get the last little packets in, and we'll meet again here next Tuesday for sure, and we'll remind everybody about the give back. But please put these on your social media or put them at your place of business. We'd appreciate that. So thank y'all all very, very, very much.
Thank y'all. Have a great day.